Hare Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Anachari Yamuna Tira Anachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Anachari Yamuna Tira Anachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Vijana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Panachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Shishi Gonitai Ki Jai, Shishi Radhagaloka Nanda Ki Jai, Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Pavakacharya Stotara Sata Shishimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Pavakacharya Stotara Sata Shishimad, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi Ki Jai, Nam Acharya Sridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund, Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavana Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Munamai Ki Jai, Gangamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. So today, my dear devotees, we will be continuing with our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 10. We are going to be reading from chapter 44, verse 28 and 29. And this is coming to a very intense point in this whole discussion, which has two interesting points in it, actually. As we will see, Krishna comes to give association with his pure devotees, and he also comes to annihilate the demons. And in these pastimes, we will be able to see both interactions taking place between Krishna and the devotees and those that are against Krishna. So it's a very exciting part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Exciting in one way and sad in another way, because those of us who know the pastimes, we know that very soon Krishna he will just not be returning to Vrindavan. And we had the good fortune of reading about Krishna in Vrindavan. And now Krishna's come, the residents in Vrindavan are with them, But as we'll see in the later verses, Krishna will stay. So we'll continue now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chanure Mustike Kute. Chanure Mustike Kute. Chanure Mustike Kute. Shale Toshalake Hate. Shale Toshalake Hate. Shale Tosalake Hate. Sheshaha Praduruvur Malaha. Shesha Praduruvur Malaha. Shesha Praduruvur Malaha. Sarve Prana Paripasavaha. Pariparasabaha. Chanure Mustika Kute. Shale To Shalaka Tate. Shesha Padurupmalaha. Sarve Prana Parispasvaha. Devotees. Chanure Mustike Kute. Shale To Shalake Hate. Sarve Prana Paripsavaha. Anyone else? Synonyms. Chanure Mustike Kute. What's word for word? Chandra, Mustika, and Kuta. I'll just read it. Shale Toshalake. Shala and Toshala. Hate, being killed. Sheshaha, those remaining. Pradudruvahu, ran away. Malaha, wrestlers. Sarve, all. Prana, their lives. Paripasavaha, hoping to save. Translation. Chanura, Mushtika, Kuta, Shala, and Tosala, having been killed, the remaining wrestlers all fled for their lives. You can repeat. Chanura, Mushtika, Kuta, Shala, Toshala, having been killed, the remaining wrestlers all fled for their lives. Commentary by Jiva Goswami, 1044-28. The wrestlers fled from fighting with Krishna and from Kamsa for not fighting out of fear for their lives. Sanatana Goswami's commentary. The remaining wrestlers fled quickly. Why did they give fame and their fear of Kamsa? They desired to save their lives. They wanted to avoid death. They ignored everything else. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimati Hridayananda Goswami Iti Namane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtashtadine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, unto my Shiksha Guru, and unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the most glorious Srimad Bhagavatam and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So before going on, Om Gana Timidandasya, Gana Gana Shalakaya, Shaksumilitanyana, Taismai Shri Gurave Namaha. So before going on to verse 29, I just wanted to make a little comment on this. So here we see that somehow or other, Chanura, Mustika, Kuta, Shala, and Tosa, their names are in the Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, were fighting Krishna. They were against Krishna. They were fighting on the side of Kamsa, but their names are in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the other wrestlers, they were very concerned for their own life. And they could see that these famous wrestlers that were Kamsa's like number one fallible soldiers, they had also been defeated. And normally they would be very fearful of not following Kamsa's order. Kamsa's order, of course, would have been for them to continue fighting, and to protect Kamsa and to show their strength and their valor. But at this point, they could see that they had to flee for their very life. They were able to see that there was no winning against Krishna and Balaram. Krishna and Balaram were taking this whole activity like a sport. It was explained they had ankle bells on, and they wore those so that when they danced, it made a jingle sound, and the sound of their ankle bells just enlivened them in their wrestling. And as we read previously, when it got to the point that everybody was feeling great disturbance, seeing what they considered the tender young boys fighting with these mountainous wrestlers, then Krishna just annihilated them. He annihilated Chanura, and then Mustika was annihilated by Balaram. So we also know that it's explained that we pray to Lord Balaram for spiritual strength. And it's explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which I'm not going to go into detail now. We've spoken about it on other classes, that the different demons represent different unwanted anarthas within the heart, which keep us away from Krishna. Of course, the biggest one is duplicity and pretending to be a devotee when one isn't. So here we see that Kamsa, one after one, he had sent different Rakshasas and demons, his friends, to Vrindavan to try to get rid of Krishna, because he knew that it was said the 8th child of Devaki would be the one to take his life. So previously he was actually very favorable to Devaki. He was so favorable that he was, driving the chariot. But then everything changed when he heard this prediction. So one after one, he sent these demons, and one after one, they were slain. I mean, and this started happening when Krishna was just a baby, when he was a toddler, and then through all the different ages. No one he sent was able to survive. But still, he wasn't going to give up. So as we read, he arranged for this whole big festival to take place. But what was the motivation of his festival? The motivation of his festival wasn't to please Krishna, but it was to kill Krishna. So I was also meditating how important is what our motivation is. It appeared that Kamsa was arranging a beautiful festival. The streets were decorated. They were spraying rose water everywhere. The music was playing. There was the arena. But his desire actually was to kill Krishna. So within our devotional service, it's not just the external that is important, but it's very important. What is our intention? So one thing that I meditated on here, this wasn't in the commentaries, but it was one thing that I just meditated on myself, because we hear about how there are some of the unwanted things in the heart, some of the anartas that automatically go away through the process of hearing and chanting and devotional service. And it said that those are like the demons that Krishna killed. But then there are some unwanted things within the heart that we have to really pray and pray to Lord Balaram and work on ourselves to be gotten rid of. So it made me think of that, because here, there was a fight that went on between Chanura, Mustika, Kuta, Shala, Tosala. But then all the other wrestlers just fled. So sometimes in our life, it could seem that we might be struggling with the different anartas, but if we continue with the process of devotional service, then those other unwanted things will leave, just like these wrestlers saw this is have to go. So those unwanted things in the heart will naturally go away. Anyway, that was just a reflection that I had. And we saw here too how the wrestlers that led, they didn't care for fame or fear of Kamsa, but what was their motivation? It was to save their own life. Where the gopis, they gave up fame and they gave up fear of their family. They gave up fear of Kamsa, but to please Krishna. So it's always, what is our motivation and who are we trying to please? Are we trying to please Kamsa? Pleasing Kamsa means putting ourselves first, putting our own happiness first, and doing whatever we need um, to reach that point. And pleasing Krishna means doing what pleases Krishna and being willing to make personal sacrifice. So I'm going to continue now. The next verse is very fun. This is verse 29. Gopan vasayan akshisha tahi samidja vihartatu vaja maneshu tureshu vaganato uta nupuro. Translation. Krishna and Balaram then called their young Howard friends to join them, and in their company the lords danced about and sported, their ankle bells resounding as musical instruments played. I'm going to read that again. This is quite a visual, so just take yourself out of your seat in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and go to the arena and see this beautiful spectacle of dancing. Krishna and Balaram then called their young cowherd boyfriends to join them, and in their company the lords danced about and sported, their ankle bells resounding as musical instruments played. So remember, in the beginning of this pastime, before we read the purport, in the beginning of the pastime, the wrestlers were making fun of Krishna and Balaram, and then Krishna and Balaram was saying, well, we're just young boys. We just play in the forest. And the wrestlers say, no, we know that you wrestle in the forest. And they were being sarcastic. They were being very sarcastic. Little did they know how those young cowherd boys would be celebrating Krishna's victory. Purport. Nowadays, we see that in championship boxing matches, as soon as there is a victory, all the friends and relatives of the victorious boxer rush into the ring to congratulate him, and often the champions will dance about in great happiness. Exactly in this mood, Krishna and Balaram danced about, celebrating their victory with their friends and relatives. So this brings to my mind the point I brought up in the beginning, that on one hand, we see now, Krishna is doing his duty that he came for, his dharma, annihilating the earth of miscreants and demons. And in the other hand, he's reciprocating with love with his dear friends. And I found this to be quite a conjunction of a verse, because we're in Mathura. Krishna's been called up by Akrura, and he's going to be killing Kamsa. And at the same time, his dearmost cowherd boys are with him, and they're sporting and dancing and having fun. And for them, it's like Krishna's just killed more demons. And in their lives, Krishna was always killing demons, And then they would dance home and celebrate, and they would tell everyone about what happened, and sometimes the family wouldn't believe that it really happened. Here it was happening in front of everybody. Everybody was seeing the power, the strength, and the beauty of Krishna and Balaram. But little did the cowherd boys know, little did they know that Krishna was going to stay. And this was going to be the last dancing together, celebrating Krishna's victory over a demon. So there's an underlying bittersweetness in this pastime. Of course, we think, how could a pastime of killing? And when I first came to Association Devotees, and I was around a lot of yoga people, and where everybody wanted to be smiling and zippity doo dah, my oh my, it's a wonderful day. And some of the people would say, I don't want people to read. And when he's dancing on stage with the cowherd boys and his bells are jingling, he looks more beautiful than any dance we've ever seen in our life. Of course, not more beautiful than the Rasa dance, but we're just speaking in general terms. So we'll continue. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Krishna and Balaram began dancing around Bhagavato with their friends. So Krishna was having fun. He had a victory with Balaram, and he wanted to call all his young friends up to join him. And the friends, we'll see, are scared to come at first. By Jiva Goswami, they mocked the wrestlers with laughter and then called the cowherd boys. They were shy to enter suddenly and thus were brought to the arena by force and all joined together, holding one another. Samstraja. They jumped about, Baguna toe, like wrestlers. Though they were wearing cloth ornaments, they had jeweled ankle bells, since they would not get crushed by the opponent in wrestling. They kept them because the sound nourished their jumping and incited their limbs to move. The two boys brought the other boys into the arena for fun and to make Kamsa angrier. So here is Krishna. He's very strategic. He really wants to get Kamsa angrier and angrier because he also is waiting. Let's just be done with Kamsa. So he's inciting it because Kamsa had this whole plan with his wrestling match, and he invited everyone, and he was expecting a different outcome. And so here, not only was Krishna and Balaram raising their arms up and celebrating their victory, but they were calling their little coward boyfriends. And the boys, they didn't want to go. They were like, uh-oh, what is King Kamsa going to do to us? Plus, they were shy. There's hundreds and hundreds of people here. We don't want to go. And so Krishna and Balaram pulled them by their arms, just like sometimes there's a big festival and all the devotees are dancing around and somebody's kind of in the corner shyly. And then someone will just come and grab them and pull them into the kirtan. So Krishna was having quite a time. His ankle bells were jingling, and Balaram's were jingling. And then all the boys came and everybody joined arms. And there was a beautiful festival taking place in the arena. And everybody was appreciating the beauty of Kamsa. Kamsa was becoming angrier and angrier and angrier and more furious. Why? Because all his valuable soldiers were failing him. And he knew it, and he was frustrated. Sanatana Goswami. Out of fear of Kamsa or because of shyness, the boys did not come, but he forcibly pulled them there and met them because they were friends. They played at fighting. The two boys moved here and there, Bagona toe, while their ankle bells sounded. They played in the huge arena to show the beauty of their play wrestling and to show the superiority of the cowherds over Chanur and others and make Kamsa angry in order to kill him. This would also counteract later suffering of himself and the boys on the separation. So Krishna knew that he wasn't going to be able to return now to Vrindavan. And he knew that his coward boyfriends were used to every single morning coming to Krishna and going out to the forest to play. So many wonderful sporting pastimes. And Chanura and the others had made fun of the coward boys wrestling. And then now Krishna is showing everyone how wonderful is the wrestling of the coward boys. And not only that, when the big Chanura and Mushtika were not able to defeat Krishna and Balaram in wrestling, Krishna and Balaram allow their own cowherd boys to defeat them in wrestling. So I'm just going to read the English for the verses here. Seeing the destruction of Chanura's strength and the increase of Krishna's strength, Kamsa, full of anger, stopped the music. You can just hear him, stop the music, because he had this music going, thinking that he was going to be celebrating, the killing of Krishna. And then the music is still going, and Krishna's ankle bells and Balaram, and it's like mayhem on the on the arena, and he becomes so fried. It's like, stop the music. When the mridangas and other instruments stopped, at that moment in the sky, the Devatas, many instruments began to sound together. The Devatas spoke in joy in the sky. Victory to Govinda, Keshava, kill the demon Chanuru, Vishnu Purana. So here we see he stopped the music, and for a minute there was this silence. Then all the demigods began playing beautiful music, calling out, Jaya Jaya Govinda, Jaya Jaya Govinda. Because the demigods, they had prayed to Lord Vishnu, please help us. The earth has been overtaken by demoniac forces. And now they were seeing how actually Krishna was here saving the day. Harivamsa says, with sweating face, Kamsa glared at Krishna and stopped the music with his left hand. All the instruments began playing on their own. Tata Pavina Vadana Krishna Paninekshanaha Navayarata Tuyani Kamsa Savena Panina Mayam Eva Prabhadayanta Turagos Chasar Svaha. So everything that's involved with Krishna is a personality. So there was no stopping the instruments. The instruments continued playing on their own. They were glorifying the victory of Krishna. And we see that Kamsa, he was just becoming so red in the face, so full of anger, because his plan was thwarted. And he never took that time to realize this is going nowhere. Let me just surrender to Krishna. Let me just give this up. Let me have some dignity, some dignity. But he was going to fight it to the end. So it's very easy to look at Kamsa and to point fingers, but everything in life, we always have to look inward and point the fingers. Like, what am I still holding on to? And where do I put my faith? Do I put my faith in material strength, material logic, material science? Or do I put my faith in Krishna and the strength, the plan of Krishna? So I also wanted to read a little bit from the Gopal Champu about this pastime. And as I said, it's a very important pastime, because in this pastime, we still have the residents of Vrindavan interacting. They're there in the arena, and they are there. The coward boys are now on the stage dancing. But it is also the doorway to separation. And Krishna knows that. The coward boys don't know that, but Krishna knows. And so he calls the boys on so that they will remember dancing with Krishna, and Krishna will remember that. So I'm going to go back to where we're reading. At first, people were very upset that Krishna was having to fight these wrestlers. They were thinking these wrestlers are very strong. Krishna and Balaram are just tender young boys. Okay. But then the battle became a whole different story. Okay, I'm going to read. All the righteous, including Vasudev, Nanda, and Devaki, speaking like me with blazing hearts, with intense gazes, are continually agitated by Kamsa. It seems that he will soon die. Those who realize their great powers also criticize Kamsa. As a concealed hunter throws a dog to a lion, frightened Kamsa throws these wrestlers to Krishna. He who killed his troopers, like Putana, who completely cut down Indra's pride, who inconceivably bewildered Brahma, has promised to defeat Kamsa. What is the comparison of self-manifesting Krishna with ignorant wrestlers? Look at the amazing battle between light and darkness. So this is a battle between light and darkness. Though Krishna and the wrestlers grapple each other, they do not touch because of Krishna's special powers, just as light and darkness do not mix. In Krishna's heroic body, there is not a trace of arrogance, panic, or injury. See, his excellent powers is like poison in front of Chanura and crushes to bits his vital organs. Look before you, as fire consumes grass, as thunderbolt splits a mountain, as a gust just swallowed the ocean, as moonlight destroys darkness, as Vishnu's name destroys all sin. Krishna is victorious in the arena over the wrestler with ugly, huge, tough limbs. See the amazing scene of Krishna fighting. Afflicting Chanura, he pierces the heart of Kamsa. The fool punches Krishna with his iron fist. When it touches Krishna's heart, Krishna's hairs stand on end in joy. Thus, with lamentation and criticism, people watched. Laughing once, Krishna grabbed him, twirled him in the air, and on seeing him said, "Unfortunately, you are dead." While Kamsa watched, he threw the wrestler on the earth with disrespect. When Mushtika threw his punches, Balaram was happy. Receiving a strike from Balaram's palm, he died. In front, with his limbs quivering in pain, his distracted eyes trembling in terror, frightening to see, crushed by time in the form of Balaram and Krishna, indicating the path of Kamsa. Chanura and Mustika passed to another world, causing astonishment to all eyes. When Krishna and Balaram, playing with the wrestlers, threw the two on the ground carelessly, not showing knowledge of skill, Kuta immediately came with Shala and Toshla, but Krishna and Balaram danced, splitting them open by striking them with their left feet and left hands. So they were dancing as they strike the other ones. Krishna and Balaram wanted to fight with all the assembled troops in the back and all the wrestlers. When these wrestlers were killed and the other wrestlers fled, making Krishna and Balaram and others laugh. So then the boys are just laughing that everyone fled. Ha ha ha, here you're strong, fallible soldiers. Just as when you sent your troops to kill me, and I sent them to the other world. When you sent the elephant to the gate, I sent him to the other world. And then today I have sent off the wrestlers. Now I will play with my friends on this comfortable road. In this way, Krishna instructed Kamsa and the assembly and played. So this is just such a comparison. Krishna's killing these wrestlers, and then he's playing with his friends, Let's get back to our real life, It's just really funny. When they were playing with their friends and friends defeated the two brothers, seeing the defeat by their friends, Kamsa was troubled in his heart. So none of the demons were able to defeat Krishna and Balaram. And now Krishna and Balaram are defeated by their little coward boys. And Krishna is arranging all this because he just wants to aggravate. It's like the last thorn for Kamsa. He could have just killed Kamsa, but he wanted to aggravate him. The two caused astonishment and mock fighting with their friends as the praiseworthy forerunners watched. The two who were respected equally gave respect to their friends of the same age. They appeared glorious with joy caused by the faultless heavenly and earthly music. They kept the beat while wrestling as the main dancers in a divine performance. So this is like Champakala can probably just even picture this choreograph in her mind, how Krishna and Balaram were dancing with the coward boys to the music. They mounted the heavenly airplanes in a joyous festival.
Their prestige increased by the shower of flowers. For half an hour, they made everyone fix their minds on one object. So it was a beautiful dance performance. Everyone was attached to Krishna, but Kamsa, unable to tolerate him, showed pride. So Kamsa still was full of pride, noting that wealth and power were actually the same, and that he would soon order that all the cowards' wells should be seized. He waved his hand several times to stop the music. I can just see his face getting red, his hands moving. Stop the music! When the heavenly music, though faultless, was stopped, Krishna, with brilliant moves, began jumping attractively with his friends. Hearing the harsh words of Kamsa directed to Nanda, Vasudeva, and Ugrasena, and aiming to remove the faults from Kamsa's words and is stopping the music, the independent enemy of Kamsa, Krishna, ran quickly with a laugh, jumped on Kamsa's stage, and glanced about. So Kamsa trying to stop the music. He's doing everything he can do, but what finally gets Krishna to jump onto the stage, where the arena where Kamsa is, the dais where Kamsa is when he starts saying he just wants to kill Devaki, Vasudev, imprison Ugrasena, his dear relatives. Krishna's intolerable bodily fortunes fought with Kamsa, and Kamsa was destroyed. Defeated, his mind became deflated. He lost all composure, and grasping his sword and shield, began pacing about. Unconquerable Krishna, walking joyfully, grabbed Kamsa's hair as if it were a natural action. Kamsa could not understand what happened, just as a rabbit cannot understand how it is caught by a hawk. So this is getting to the slaying of Kamsa. So I'm not going to go to that part because that'll be someone else's verses. And whoever does those verses, they're welcome to borrow the Gopal Champu if they want to read from it. It's very, very beautiful. So as I was saying, this just it's a culmination of the beginning of the 10th canto when this whole pastime starts. But it's not going to just end with the slaying of Kamsa, because even though Kamsa is destroyed, the demons who approached were destroyed, still Kamsa has these loyal kings who are really concerned about their own wealth and prestige, and they're going to take revenge. And because there will be all these different kings that will take revenge, Krishna will not be able to externally appear to go back to Vrindavan. Of course, we understand that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, that he's always going out in the morning with the cowherd boys, with his buffalo horn and bells jingling, and going to bring the cows out. And Mother Yasoda is always feeling separation when he's leaving, and the cowherd girls are piercing and looking and going to cook lunch at the house of Nanda Baba for Krishna. So many pastimes continue to take place on the uppercut, although it appears that Krishna is gone. So even today, those pastimes are taking place within Vrindavan, just that we are not able to see them. So these pastimes can help us to really develop that faith in putting our hopes and dreams in the right direction. Every day we're singing to Tulsi Devi to make me a resident of Vrindavan. And every day we're praying to Srila Prabhupada to remove the darkness. Let my consciousness not be Kamsa mentality, but let my consciousness be those who fall in love with Krishna. So thank you very much. Does anyone add anything?
Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Enam Kanvanda Maravindanalaya Tatam Bhagavatam Shamasitam Buddha Sundaratam Tandar Hako Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Andani Asta Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipa Vikayanti Gira Praganti Ananda Maya Sadhu Jala Vikasya Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam Aham Bhajami Adipurusham Aham Bhajami Govindam
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More Toma Vida Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsare Toma Vida Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsare Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatara 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 Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaibe Ara Mosamo Patita Prabhu Napaibe Ara Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Ha ha Jananda Premananda Sukhi Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Ripa Bolo Kana Koro Ami Boro Duki Ripa Boro Kana Koro Ami Boro Duki Doya Koro Sita Pati Advaita Gosai Doya Orasita Pati Advaita Gosai Doya Korasita Pati Advaita Gosai Pati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Ha ha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunath Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunath Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunath Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunath Bhatta Yuga Sri Jiva Prabhu Lokanath Bhatta Yuga Sri Jiva Prabhu Lokanath Doya Koro Shriya Jaya Prabhu Srinivas Doya Koro Shriya Jaya Srinivas Doya Koro Shriya Jaya Prabhu Srinivas Doya Koro Shriya Jaya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamadass Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamadass Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo. Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda. Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Nanda Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda. Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. My dear Lord, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your lordship within these three worlds? Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls, but I assure you that you will not find a more fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, I may also become happy. My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband, you are so kind. Please be kind to me. If you are kind to me, naturally, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. I pray for the mercy of Swarup Damodar, the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Bhatta Raghunath Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and Lokanath Prabhu. I, Narottam Das, pray for the merciful, and I always desire the company of Ramachandra Kaviraj. Chaito Darpana Mara. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrihainam Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim kavitam va jagadishakamaye, mama janmani janmani ishvare, bhavatad bhaktir hoitaki twai, ainanda tanuja kinkaram, patitam mam vishame bhavam budao, kripayata vapada pankaja, stita duli sadvishimba chintaya, nayanam galadishu daraya, varanam gadgada hridaya gira, pulakarnishitam vapukada, tavanamagrahane bhavishyati, yugayatam namishena, chakshusha bravashayatam, shunayatam jagatsarvam, govindam virahename, ashlishyava padamratam padastumam, adarshanam marmahata karotuva, yatatava vindadolam pato, mat pranatastusa eva napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handled me roughly by his grace, or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is always anything and everything, for he is always my Lord, worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Shri Shastika Ki Jai.